Okay, let's unpack this. Shaboozey at the Met Gala, that turquoise cropped suit, the beaded chain.
Mm.
I mean, it definitely got people talking, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It felt like, more than just fashion commentary almost instantly.
Right, because corners of the internet just lit up with this whole idea of Hollywood humiliation rituals.
It's really something how fast those interpretations spread. This idea that, maybe these really unconventional celebrity moments aren't just random, that they could be part of some calculated pattern.
Yeah, like a script or something, a recurring theme for sure.
Exactly, a humiliation ritual.
And yeah, Shaboozey's outfit is kind of the spark this time, but this deep dive, it really goes back further. It connects to claims Katt Williams has been making for years now.
Right, and we've got some interesting source material for this. Excerpts from a YouTube video transcript. It digs into Williams' views, both the older stuff and how it relates to this Met Gala moment.
Okay, so the mission here, basically, is to dig into these claims. What is this humiliation ritual theory actually, saying?
Yeah, where does it come from? Why does it stick with some people? And, what are the different ways you can actually look at these big celebrity moments?
Okay, so Katt Williams, he's been talking about this stuff for a while. And initially, a big part of it was what he called the dress ritual.
Right, the specific idea that Black male celebrities were being pressured, basically, to wear dresses, and that this was meant to be like a symbolic emasculation.
Yeah, that was the core of it early on. But his view seems to have shifted or maybe broadened.
Well, yeah, according to the source material, his more recent stuff suggests it's not just about the dress anymore. He's emphasizing the, quote, ritual itself.
The ritual itself.
And maybe hinting at connections to occult symbolism, Baphomet worship, things like that.
Okay, wow. That definitely steers the conversation into deeper waters.
For sure. And you see totally different reactions to Williams. I mean, some people just write him off immediately, conspiracy theorists, and end of story.
But then others are like, hang on, didn't he kind of predict some other stuff that happened? And for them, that gives his current claims more weight, more credibility.
It really highlights how people look for patterns, Sometimes maybe seeing connections where there aren't any. But if someone said something years ago that seems to fit something happening now, well, that can be powerful for belief.
Yeah, confirmation bias and all that.
Exactly.
So to give people a sense of what moments get pulled into this humiliation ritual discussion online, what are some examples?
Oh, there are quite a few that pop up repeatedly. Things like Caitlyn Jenner's Vanity Fair cover.
Right, that was huge.
Sam Smith's, that inflatable latex outfit.
Oh yeah, the balloon one. Very memorable.
Memorable, yeah. And even like the Will Smith slap at the Oscars, people loop that in.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Let's see. Kanye West's wife Bianca appearing almost naked at the Grammys. That got buzz. John Cena presenting at the Oscars, basically nude except for the envelope.
Right. That was definitely a moment.
And even like DOH showing up to the Balenciaga show with what looked like a fake black eye. All these things get flagged online as potentially fitting this pattern.
Okay, so let's bring it back to Shaboozey, the catalyst for this current round. Can you just paint a picture of that Met Gala outfit again?
Sure. It was this really striking turquoise suit, but the jacket was cropped, quite short, matching pants, and then this quite prominent beaded chain across his chest. Definitely a bold look.
Bold, yeah. And the reaction online was instant.
Totally. Our source points out lots of comments calling it an initiation ceremony right away. Some even started, analyzing the color turquoise itself. What could that symbolize? Spiritual transformation, things like that.
Huh. It's wild how fast that happens.
It is. And the source also noted that some people felt he looked kind of uncomfortable in the photos.
Yeah, I saw some of that chatter too. And there was one specific interaction mentioned, right? Someone asked him online about the outfit.
Yeah, and the interpretation, at least by the commenter sharing it, was that Shaboozey's response, or maybe his lack of a clear one, suggested he was just told what to wear. Like he didn't pick it himself or even know the designer, maybe?
Okay, but there's another side to this, obviously.
Oh, definitely. His fans and others pushed back hard. They argued, look, this was totally on theme for the Met Gala. It was about, super fine tailoring, celebrating Black style.
And showcasing a specific designer, presumably.
Exactly. And the source even brings up the concept of dandism.
Right, as a style pioneered by Black men. So what one person sees as maybe a weird ritual.
Another person sees as high fashion, rooted in cultural history, completely different lens.
Okay, this tension, it makes me think of that Dave Chappelle interview with Oprah from years back. 2006, I think.
Yeah, that's super relevant here. because he talked about a specific experience.
He did. He talked about feeling real pressure, like strong pressure, to wear a dress for a movie role. It was a film with Martin Lawrence.
And for him, it wasn't just, oh, it's a funny costume. He felt it was part of something bigger, like a test. Were you willing to, play along?
Yeah, and he actually asked, didn't he? Like, why do so many black men in movies have to wear dresses?
Gala.
He was questioning the whole trope.
Exactly. He saw it as more than just comedy. He wondered about the real reasons behind it.
And the crazy part was apparently the dress wasn't even needed for the scene. He told the producers he was uncomfortable.
But the director apparently really pushed him, even brought the whole crew in to kind of pressure him.
And they already had another version of the scene written without a dress. That's pretty telling.
It definitely suggests that sometimes, decisions in the industry might not just be about art or comedy, power dynamics, expectations. They play a role.
Okay, now contrast that with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Because earlier on, he used to talk a lot about protecting his brand, right? Like having lines he wouldn't cross.
Yeah, he was pretty vocal about that for a while, maintaining a certain image.
But then things shifted a bit.
Well, yeah, the narrative gets interesting because, some years after those comments, he did wear a dress on Saturday Night Live. He played a female Pope character.
Right. I remember that sketch.
And the source material notes that, well, after that happened, his career seemed to really take off, like a noticeable boost.
Interesting timing, at least.
Yeah.
And Katt Williams definitely noticed that.
Oh, yeah. He commented on it, basically said, look, this Hollywood dress situation, it's not new. It's about choosing whether you want to play the game or not.
And he brought up other examples.
Yeah, like the Big Mama's House movies. Martin Lawrence, again, famously in drag for comedy. Williams's point seemed to be, this has been around for ages.
And Williams also kind of hinted at consequences for not playing along. Going against the Illuminati, I think was the phrase used in relation to his comments.
Right, and that's often where his commentary moves into territory that many listeners classify as, broader conspiracy theories.
Which, we should acknowledge, leads to the criticism he gets.
Yeah.
Being called a conspiracy theorist, sometimes facing accusations of homophobia related to the dress comments specifically. It's part of the conversation.
Absolutely. You have to include that context. But Williams hasn't stopped talking about it. He elaborated more recently, right? On Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, that interview got a lot of attention. And he seemed to be saying the dress itself is almost like a red herring, a distraction.
Exactly. He said the real issue is the symbolism.
Okay, symbolism of what?
He frames these acts as tests. Tests of loyalty, obedience, and submission for people trying to make it or stay at the top in Hollywood.
So doing something unconventional or maybe seen as degrading proves you're compliant.
That seems to be his argument, that willingness is the signal. And he had that really sharp quote.
Oh, yeah.
Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
Wow, that really crystallizes his viewpoint now, doesn't it?
It does. And then he takes it even further. He starts connecting these alleged rituals to Baphomet imagery and even transgender symbolism.
Okay, how so?
He claims he saw the word transgender linked to Baphomet years ago and interpreted it as like a sign of a future trend, maybe a sign of allegiance within the system.
Huh. That's quite a leap for many people.
It is. He also mentioned how calling people the GOAT, G-O-A-T, has become normalized. And he seems to link that term symbolically as well.
So, okay, bringing it all back to Shaboozey's suit at the Met Gala.
Right. You've got the split view. One side sees it through Williams's lens, a deliberate ritual, symbolism, initiation.
And the other side sees fashion.
Yeah.
A stylish themed choice celebrating Black culture and design.
Exactly. And looking at all the source material, what really comes through is just how complex interpreting these things is. There's no single easy answer that clicks for everyone.
Right. So this whole deep dive, it's really been about exploring that central question. Is there some kind of pattern here, these humiliation rituals in Hollywood? Or are these just, individual choices, artistic expressions, maybe blown up by internet speculation and existing theories?
Yeah, we've looked at Katt Williams' warnings over the years, Dave Chappelle's personal story about feeling pressure, Kevin Hart's choices and career path.
And then all the different ways people reacted to Shaboozey just recently.
And it's crucial to remember the sources we looked at, they just offer different perspectives, different ways to potentially understand these events. We're not landing on a definitive yes or no.
Because, honestly, the nature of these claims involves so much interpretation, so much speculation.
Right. So maybe here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Just consider the power of symbols generally in our culture. How often do we read deeper meanings into things people do or wear?
Yeah, especially public figures.
Exactly. And how much do our own beliefs shape how we interpret those actions? Maybe also think about whether other industries, maybe even your own, have unspoken rules or expectations, subtle tests of loyalty or conformity, even if they don't involve wearing a dress on TV.